Howdy, Ags. Welcome to Aggie Growth Hacks, the podcast sponsored by the McFerrin Center for Entrepreneurship at Texas A&M, where we help entrepreneurs improve their business, connect with other Aggie entrepreneurs, and support one another. I'm your host, Greg Martin, Fighting Texas Aggie Class 2001.
And I'm your co-host, Chris Hunter, Fighting Texas Aggie Class of 1998. Whoop!
Well, we got a little story for you, Ags. Dustin Neff, Fighting Texas Aggie Class of 2012, is a third-generation HVAC entrepreneur and the general manager of AAA AC and heating in the DFW Metroplex. We talked about what it's like to work with family and to grow your business in a really innovative way, despite being in an extremely challenging environment.
So pass it back and listen up to Dustin as he shares some good bull.
Welcome back, Ags. We have got another special episode for you today. Dustin Neff is the general manager of a two-time Aggie 100 winning company. Dustin, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your willingness to be open and to share a little bit of knowledge with us today.
Thank you, Greg. I appreciate it. And you, Chris, as well. I appreciate the invite. I'm excited. Let's do this.
Yeah, well, we love starting off Aggie Growth Hacks. We love Texas A&M, and you're up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're in Dallas. We do, Dallas-Fort Worth, a huge metroplex, but we cover many zip codes. So we have a probably 35, 40 mile range from radius from our office. So we touch just about everywhere.
Okay, well, that's not too far from Aggie land, so you probably come down a little bit. But what do you miss about being a student at A&M? Because when you come down now, you're not a student. You don't have that carefree life. What do you miss about being a student?
Oh man, I guess first off, I just miss the 12th man. I miss game days. I miss everybody coming together to root on our Ags, and I miss camping out, pull for tickets. I miss being the first one in the Reed Arena when we beat Texas back in, it was probably 2010. Made it on ESPN. I miss game days. I miss walking across campus. Campus was one of my favorite parts about it. It's just beautiful. So yeah, there's a lot I miss, but friendships that I formed are going to last a lifetime. So it's exciting.
Love it. And there's nothing, better than the 12th man, honestly. So
absolutely,
in the entire world, right?
Yeah.
So one of my favorite things to kind of extract from y'all entrepreneurs, right? I'm an entrepreneur also. We all have our entrepreneurial journeys and our stories, So why don't you tell us a little bit about, AAA and how did you get there and what do you do? And just pretty much give us your story here.
So at AAA, I'm the general manager, but a little backstory. So, my father owns the business. He's had the business for 33 years. I've worked for the business for AAA since I was 14. So I've been in it for a long time. And it's been my goal since 8th grade. I told him, I said, I'm going to go to college. I'm going to, get a degree. I'm going to come back and I'm going to turn this into something. It provided a great life for us growing up, but I want to take it to the next level and see what it can really do. So I'm excited about the growth that we're seeing.
That is awesome. So cool. So you knew at a young age that this was not only an industry, but this was the business that you wanted to get into. And that's so cool about multi-generational businesses that you can have that, but that's also got to be kind of a struggle sometimes. I mean, if you've got an older generation that grew it, did your dad found it?
So my dad did not found it. He AAA has been in business since 1969. We're the second owners of it. So I mean, not many hands have gone through it. They just they were ready to retire back when he bought it in '89. But my grandfather is actually the one who kind of started us in this industry. 1949, he got out of the war, World War II, and he started in commercial refrigeration. My dad learned from him. I learned from my dad. So we're actually 3 generations of air conditioning contractors. Yeah.
That's cool. Okay. So this is what I talked about. We're going to, I'm warning you, we're going off script now. So let's dive. I love hearing entrepreneur story. I love hearing generational entrepreneur story, but one of the things that I consistently hear is that it takes communication to run your business no matter what. But then when you've got multiple generations, this is the way we did it back in my day, and it worked for me. And why the hell are you going to try and change it? All this. I mean, how is that? How much more communication do you have to do now? Or, I mean, do you have a system set up that's really to over communicate the long-term goals for the company?
Really, I mean, I'm the one that comes up with the long-term goals. Me and my wife. My wife is also an Aggie. She's the class of 2015. We work really hard together on this and plan, but we're very open about our vision, and our team knows where we want to go, and they know that what they're gonna achieve by helping us hit our goals, helping the company hit its goals, that they're going to be successful. But communication is key. If you don't communicate, things fall through the cracks. So we can always get better. We're not perfect, and we still have a lot of learning to do. But at the same time, the steps that we have taken on the communication platform is what has helped us kind of take it to the next level. And everybody knows that vision. Everybody knows where we're going. Everybody's on the boat, and we're all working towards one common goal.
Awesome. And how do you set that goal? Like, do you have like EOS, or is there some type of system that you say, okay, here's what my 5-10 year, I know we're probably getting into some other questions, but as you and your wife are setting those things, is it just monetary goals? Is it, hey, we want to be this big? Where do you kind of see AAA?
So I guess if we're talking about that, the big, hairy, audacious goal, I guess it kind of goes in that, especially if we're looking at 5 to 10 year. When we first started really taking over the business in 2017, we had those, that 1 year goal, that 3 year goal. But I guess my 5 to 10 year goal has really always been, we're home service business, but we're air conditioning. I'd love to do plumbing. My customers ask all the time, when are you going to do water heaters? I'd love to do electrical. I'd really love to become like a value home service business. So that'd be my big long-term goal. And that's probably going to be through acquisition, and hiring the right people, getting the electricians in here, getting the plumbing master license. Cause I don't have a lot of time to be able to go and get my plumbing license. It takes 10 years, and it's a lot that they have to go through. So, but finding the right people is something I definitely think we can do.
That's awesome. So when you started in 2014, you said that you had this vision that you're going to be taking over this company. Was that kind of an expectation, or was that, I'm going to do this?
I don't know if my dad might say something different. He might all along kind of expected me to do this, but this goes back to 8th grade. So 2003, I guess, was when I was like, you know what, I want to do this, because he had me while my friends were on a boat or out riding their bikes. I was in a 115-degree attic installing air conditioning equipment and helping homeowners solve their problems. So it's all I know as far as the air conditioning side of it. I don't really know what I would do if I wasn't doing this. But I think he did expect me to do it, just because, my grandpa did it, he did it, I did it. It's like farmers. Usually if you're in the generation of farming, your son's going to be a farmer, their son's going to be a farmer. It was kind of the same way for our family. It was kind of destined to be here.
Interesting. My kids don't have that same philosophy, right? By the way, on marketing. So,
well, my sister didn't. She didn't want anything to do with it.
Yeah.
That's right. And I'm telling my son he doesn't need to go into banking, so it's okay. Well, Dustin, let's pause a second right here and let's have a message from our sponsor. Okay, and we're back. So, Dustin, you've obviously have a big, hairy, audacious goal for this company, and you've proven that you can execute on that goal by winning 2 Aggie 100s so far, and definitely many, many more to come. But is there a tipping point that you can kind of look back in the last couple of years to say, okay, this is what really has allowed us to have that exponential growth and to really set you on that really strong glide path?
Yes, I'd probably say the tipping point was when I got out of the way. I was working in the business as a technician. I was a salesman. I was the maintenance man. I was the installer. I was the warehouse inventory specialist. I was the equipment deliverer. It was taking this hat off and putting another hat on. And that didn't give me enough time to focus on the business because I was working so much in the business. So I got out of the way, and we hired more technicians. We hired a great salesman, and I started to work on our processes to define what we need to do in the home to take it to the next level.
So what drove that? I mean, was that a conscious decision on your part, or were you just like, I've got to stop doing everything, or what was it? Was this a business coach that told you to do that?
It was a business coach. If I love my father, but if it was up to him, I'd probably still be in a truck running service because, he was a great technician and a salesman over the years. And I say salesman, we provide home comfort solutions. I don't like the term salesman or project manager, I guess. But he'd probably still have me in a truck if I didn't, kind of put my foot down and say, hey, no, I need to get out of the way. I need to find some people that are better than us. Let's get them in here. Let's take things to the next level.
That's awesome. So let's talk about today. What are some of the challenges that you're facing right now today in April 1st, by the way,
April Fool's Day.
April Fool's Day, right?
This is not a joke. This is a legit podcast.
Right. So what challenges are you faced with right now?
Well, I'm sure everybody's feeling the effects of just kind of everything that we've been going through as a nation over the last couple of years. But really for us, I'd probably say supply chain issues are one of our biggest obstacles that we're seeing. I got some materials and equipment that are 30 to 50 weeks out. So how do you provide good service?
Weeks out?
Yeah. How do you provide good service to someone if you can't get the equipment? It's been difficult to get things. I've been doing this for a very long time. Even though before I was working in the business for AAA, I'd ride with my dad on calls, and you just went to the supply house, you picked up what you needed, and you left. There was wasn't anything like this. Now you have to call to see if they have it before you waste a trip across town. But to overcome the issues, we're strengthening our relationship with our existing suppliers. We've negotiated deals to stock our warehouse the best we can so that we're ready for the summer. Because, as they say in the Game of Thrones, instead of winter, summer is coming. It's going to be here before we know it. So we're trying to be prepared the best we can. Actually, a good friend of mine told me something about the 5 Ps. The 5 Ps are proper preparation prevents poor performance. So I'm trying to be prepared the best I can. And try to be ready for it and keep the warehouse stocked, keep relationships with our vendors good, make sure bills are paid on time, and they're going to take care of us. I believe in them.
So you said that there are people with 52 weeks. Is that what you said?
Yeah. I mean, we have some commercial equipment right now, and commercial equipment's really suffering, but we've, been trying to quote replacements, and we're getting some 50-week lead times before equipment's actually going to be in warehouse and ready to go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So I can't help the banker in me is saying, okay, so you're going through and I love that you are increasing and strengthening the relationship with the suppliers that you've got, but then you've also got to lean into and invest into a deeper inventory for you so that you have that on hand. And Chris, I mean, this is the third one, like in the last month that we've had this discussion with. And so all entrepreneurs have got this mindset, but that is like, that's a real legit investment, and putting cash into inventory keeps you from having that same cash to be able to grow. So how are you managing that? How are you working that?
With consignments. And with, helping use our suppliers warehouse where, we have allotted and said, we're going to do X amount this year. We expect to sell X amount of systems, and this is how we're going to do it. And this is what our marketing budget is. This is how we're going to achieve those goals. And so, it's not that I'm having to front a bunch of cash to, acquire it and keep it. They're just holding it for us. I do have some stuff in my warehouse. But we don't have, a 10,000 square foot, warehouse. We're in about 3,500. So it's, I have some stuff, but it's like I said, it comes back to those relationships and showing them, hey, this is what we're going to do. These are the numbers we're going to hit. This is our goal. Can you guarantee that I'm going to have this equipment? And, as long as the promises are kept, then everything should be good.
Yeah.
So it's not fronting cash. It's just using consignment and making deals.
But you probably have never had to take a marketing plan to a wholesaler before to be able to say, hey, this is what we're going to do. But I mean, I love that is such a creative solution to that problem.
Absolutely.
So this is going to take us, I think, into our lightning round. But before we do that, we're going to pause for a word from our sponsor. And we're back. Okay, so lightning round rules, Dustin. You ready?
Okay.
All right. And you have 1 minute or less to answer each one of the questions. You up for it?
Yep.
All right. So what is your favorite hack? This can be personal. This can be business. Doesn't matter. We just need a hack that you give us because we're Aggie Growth Hacks.
So my hack would be what I've been hearing from my business mentors is hire people who are better than you. I know I said that earlier. Do what you do best. Find out what you want to do, what you like to do. And if you don't like to do this, then find someone who's really good at it and let them do that. And then take those people to the top with you when you're going.
So what is it that you do best?
I just have such a strong understanding of the business, and I've been in it for so long. I'm just the helper. If someone has a question and doesn't quite understand the best route, or maybe they want to try it this way, I'll let them try it that way. But there could be, as long as the goals are met, I don't say anything. But if something is a little longer on time, then I'll help coach them to say, hey, here's a better way that can make you more successful, and it's not going to take as much time.
Awesome. Well, Dustin, what's your favorite bit of advice that you've ever received? And then bonus points for if you can tell us how you've actually implemented it in your company.
So this was a pretty new one, this little piece right here. I have some other things that I've gotten that I've liked, but I can use this in personal and business. And it's be consistent and you will be successful. I'm real bad about jumping from task to task and not actually finishing something I need to finish. So doing what it says, doing what I need to do, not giving up on it, getting distracted by other tasks, and finishing it up first.
Love it. Love it. All right. We kind of hinted on this one before, but what is your superpower?
So I like to say looking outside the box, not getting stuck in the black and the white. Sometimes the gray can get you to the same goal. And sometimes looking outside the box will make you more successful. We don't have to just do it how my grandpa did it. Things have changed. Times have changed. Change is good. Change is what makes the world evolve. You shouldn't fear change. Change usually brings growth.
But you've got to be able to have a whole heck of a lot more emotional courage and strength to be able to have that attitude. I mean, I 100% agree that change is going to happen to all of us. And so we might as well just deal with it.
Accept it.
It's a hell of a lot more comfortable just to not change.
It is. But, usually the most successful people aren't just sitting in their comfort zones. They're the ones taking the risks and getting out of it.
That's right. That's right.
Absolutely.
Dustin, what gets you out of bed and excited every morning?
Man, I love to help people. I love to help our clients. I love to help our customers. I love to serve my team. I want to see them be successful, as successful as they want to be. Zig Ziglar, my dad took me out to school when I was in like fourth grade to go see Zig and some other great thinking minds. And one of my favorite quotes is from Zig is, you can have everything in life that you want if you'll just help enough people get what they want. So I'm all about if they have a goal and they say, this is what I want, this is what I want to do, I'm going to figure out how they can get there and show them that map. So just helping people reach their dreams. That's what I love to do.
Love it. Well, Dustin, we all know how powerful that the Aggie Network is. How can the Aggie Network get in touch with you and support you moving forward?
We help a bunch of Aggies in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I've gotten a bunch of business from the Aggie 100s where they say, "Hey, I saw you on the list, and we want to try you." And we always got that Aggie discount.
12%, right?
That's a great idea. Yeah,
there you go.
Calls us from this podcast, 12% discount on anything you're getting that day. So, but yeah, it would just be to support us. That's support the small businesses. And if we can serve you and you want to give us a chance, we'd be happy to.
Well, Dustin, thank you so much for just sharing a lot of wisdom with us. We talked about before we started rolling, you've got some amazing things that are kind of getting stacked up for you. So we really can't wait to celebrate your current success, your future success, to allow it to really see your company as you integrate. What would you call it? The complete home service company?
Yep.
To be able to have that, maybe to celebrate with you when you get your master plumber certificate. But seriously, thank you so much for joining us. Can't wait to celebrate your next Aggie 100 win with you.
Well, thank you guys so much for having me on and believing in our small business and taking the time to talk to, just an old air conditioning contractor,
And we're out. That's it, brother. Great job.
Oh, man,
Awesome.
That was easy.
See, I told you. It's just
You didn't even ask the question I wanted you to. I wanted you to ask the industry trends. That was a good
okay.
one.
All right. Well, hey,
let's back up and
let's
ask
back
it.
up.
Oh, you want to add that?
Yeah, this is the beauty about being able to do it in post-production.
That's right. They'll edit it.
Let me get my thing back up here. But yeah, I had we got some neat things that are happening in our industry.
You or me, Greg?
How about you do, Chris?
Okay. Well, that's so awesome. I always say that right before every.
You're good.
I got to get out of that habit. Well, that is awesome, man. So one of the things that geez, you get me out of my.
Get out of, I would say.
Yeah. All right. I'll start over. Dustin, that is so awesome. So let me ask, all right, looking forward, what are some industry trends that AAA is seeing and you're seeing, and how are you going to take advantage of those?
That's a great question there. It's crazy how far, everybody just thinks air conditioning equipment, it's going to heat my home or it's going to cool my home, out of sight, out of mind. But for us contractors, we've had some just crazy leaps and bounds over the last probably 5 years. And one of the biggest things is going to be the self-diagnosing equipment. You're not going to have as much time wasted when you have to go to the home, find the problem, go back to the warehouse, pick up the part if you don't stock it, and take it back to the home. With new equipment these days, it's getting smarter. So, I get alerts to my computer if there's a problem. Quick story. I've had a customer, they had a problem with their system. I called them and said, "Hi, Miss Jones, you're having a problem with your equipment. Have you noticed?" And they're like, "Well, we're out of town. I didn't notice." So they were like, "Well, can you go fix it? I'll open up the house for you." And that's part of the trust, that we've gained with our clients. We're able to go to the home, fix the problem. They came home to a nice, cool house. But had they not had the self-diagnosing equipment, they would have never known, would have come home, would have been 98 degrees in the home. And, there would have been some, it would have been uncomfortable. So it's really neat to see where it's going. And then one more thing is just the advancement of the diagnostic tools. My guys can be in the field working on a piece of equipment. And if they're having an issue, I can log in and see their real-time data. So I'm not having to roll another truck out there. It's making us more efficient. And we're able to teach and train live time while they're on the job. It's really cool.
So Dustin, does that open up like a whole different revenue stream for you? Like to be able to have like a consistent recurring revenue, to be like, hey, you're now part of this big package? Or is this something that you've just said, hey, this is a value add to my clients and this is what's going to set AAA apart?
It's definitely a value add. It's not on every piece of equipment, but it is on some of the newer models. But we do have programs where they do get that, where we come out twice a year, we maintenance their systems. It is a reoccurring revenue, which is good for the company. It helps with the cash flow part of it. But it also allows us to really take care of people. We schedule calls like a dentist appointment or a doctor's appointment. We pre-schedule their next maintenance so they're not forgotten. And our goal is to prevent breakdowns. We don't want the system to break down when it's 100 degrees outside or when it's 20. And with preventative maintenance, it's been proven that can happen. And that winter storm last year in February, 95% of the calls that we had come in were from people that hadn't had maintenance performed on their unit. So only 5% of those calls were our customers, where most of the time it was just they didn't have power, unfortunately. But maintenance is proven to be effective. And just like your car, you got to change the oil. We do the same thing.
Yeah. And that's really, really interesting, because this kind of reminds me of the IT industry about, 10, 15 years ago. So most IT companies back then were break fix, right? Meaning that if something broke, you came out and fixed it. So a lot of them moved to a more recurring cycle of and maintenance, right? And so as an IT company, they would come out to businesses and say, hey, we're going to take over all of your computers and your servers and all that kind of stuff, and we're going to monitor those things. So this sounds really, really similar to that model, to more of that monthly recurring revenue source.
It absolutely is. And, we were the same way in our industry, and it's probably started to change, I'd say, over the last 10 years is probably where we've seen it the most. But we were, it breaks, you call us, we come out, we fix it, we go on to the next one. Where when you do that, you have these peaks and valleys. We're real high in the summertime, we're busy, but then we get real slow when the weather's beautiful. And with the reoccurring maintenance, it allows us to keep our technicians busy year round and takes out some of those valleys. And it helps all around.
So do you stack all the maintenance times, like when seasonally that you're going to be slow?
Yep. So we're trying. My goal for my team is to be done with our maintenances come June, meaning all of our maintenances are done in weather permitting, March, April, May. Sometimes there's some stragglers, but my ultimate goal is to open capacity. I want to have capacity to help with those people that have broken systems. I don't want to be running maintenances when we have clients that don't have any air conditioning. So we try to get it done, within about 3 month time. And then same for the winter, October, November, early December, we want to try to be finished.
Okay. That's a great answer. Good job.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that was cool. Thanks for saying, hey, I wanted to talk about this.
That's because I do think it's cool. It's neat to see just how far everything's advanced in such a short time.
Yeah.
So let me throw something at you, right? And this is entrepreneur to entrepreneur here, is that in the IT industry, they have also gone to hardware as a service, meaning that you're not paying this big, huge upfront fee, but you're going to pay that out over time, right? Kind of a thing. So
we have something like this.
Yeah. It sounds like you're shaking your head. You're like, yep.
Yeah. So we have some stuff that, on the higher end models is what has the self-diagnosing. But on single stage equipment, 2-stage equipment, we are able to put on some monitoring equipment that will alert the home. It monitors the systems. It learns how it operates, how long it runs, how it starts, how much energy it's using. And then if you have a spike where something goes wrong, or we have a high energy consumption during startup, it'll send an alert saying, hey, there's something that didn't look right here. You might want to go check it out. It's all about preventing the failure.
That is so cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. That's such an awesome idea, and honestly, is exactly what the computer industry, that, hardware and IT industry did 10, 15 years ago. So this is brilliant for a whole new industry to take that same exact model and say, hey, this works over here. Let's plug it in over here. How can we do this?
Yep. It's been neat.
Love it.
So cool.
Great job.
Thank you.
Sweet. Well, man, thanks so much for sharing your morning with us. Make sure that if we're not connected, I think we're all connected on LinkedIn, Facebook, and everything. But man, I'm so excited to hear what you guys are doing and what you've got in the pipe coming up. Super stoked.
Thank you very much. Like I said earlier, I appreciate the opportunity to do this. And, are y'all down in Aggie land?
Yeah.
Maybe sometime when we're down there, I'll let you know. And I'd love to actually meet you in person.
That'd be great.
Sounds great.
Can't wait.
Awesome.
All right, Dustin, have a great day. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, guys. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks so much.
Bye, sir.
Bye.
Well, was that amazing or what? That was some good bull right there. I know that I had a lot of takeaways from that, but what was your favorite one, Greg?
Chris, I think that of course, being a banker, and we kind of dug in this a little bit, but I've been having so many conversations with entrepreneurs about how they manage the supply chain, because being open and honest with your clients and just being like, hey, I can't do this. That only gets you so far. They're understanding that, but it's like, okay, I understand that you can't do that. I understand that it's not your fault, but I still need an HVAC unit. And so for Dustin to be able to be creative and say, look, I don't have a ton of money that I can just sink into these units. And so how can I talk with my suppliers? How can I talk with the wholesalers and not really give them all the cash up front, but to be able to say, I'm going to have X number of units that I guarantee I'm going to buy from you this year. And here's my marketing plan. Here's how we're really going to do it. And to really invite them to be partners in his business, investors in his business that have no equity in it. But that was a really creative solution. And I'm sure that a lot of entrepreneurs are doing that, but to really realize that you've got he also talked about thinking in the gray, it's not black and white. And so coming up with creative solutions in order to find how we're going to deal with this problem that he hasn't dealt with before, his dad hasn't dealt with before, his grandfather hadn't dealt with before. So I thought that was really powerful, super cool. What about you? What's the number one you're taking away?
So while I agree with you, and you're right, that's something that we have heard from entrepreneur after entrepreneur, is that, there's all these supply chain issues, and what do you do about that? That was super creative how he was doing that. So my biggest takeaway is something that's really top of mind right now anyways, which is get out of my own way. Right. Mm-hmm. So, and I love that advice that he got from his business coach of, take the things that you don't like doing or that you're not good at, take them off of your plate, stop doing those things and give them to someone that really loves doing that. And that's just honestly, we've heard this one also from pretty much every single entrepreneur that we have interviewed. And what are we at 75 or whatever, interviews here with Aggie entrepreneurs is it's the same thing over and over and over again, right? Get the right people in the right seat.
Yep.
Take it off of your plate. If you're going to scale your business, you have to start doing that and thinking that way and changing your mindset. And I'm really talking to myself right now.
Preach.
Right. So self in the future, make sure that I'm listening to this right now and going, oh man, that's right. I did that right. So anyways, that's my takeaway. Get out of your own way. I love it.
Well, Ags, that's going to do it for another episode of Aggie Growth Hacks. We hope that you enjoy this episode, and we hope that you connect with Dustin if you haven't already. If you're in the DFW Metroplex, make sure that you hit him up and talk about this podcast. Get that 12% discount.
We also want to give a huge shout out to our sponsor. We didn't really talk. Hang on. We messed up here.
Yeah, that's me. Let me back up. Okay, so okay. I'm gonna do my takeaway my cut in from your takeaway. Okay. Well, Ags, that's going to do it for another episode of Aggie Growth Hacks. We hope that you enjoy this episode. And if you're not connected with Dustin, we hope that you connect with him and make sure that you hit him up for that Aggie 12% discount. Especially make sure that you mention Aggie Growth Hacks. We also hope that you connect with Chris and I, and that you connect with Aggie Growth Hacks on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you are, but really make sure that you join our Facebook group where we continue this conversation. While you're on the web, check out AggieGrowthHacks.com, where you can listen to our previous episodes as well as some of our other amazing content.
We want to give a huge shout out to our sponsor, the McFerrin Center for Entrepreneurship at Texas A&M University. Since 1999, the McFerrin Center for Entrepreneurship has served as the hub of entrepreneurship for Texas A&M. If you're an Aggie entrepreneur or even a wantrepreneur, head on over to their website and find a program that's right for you. Just go to aggiegrowthhacks.com/McFerrin right now. So join us next time when we connect with another great Aggie entrepreneur and learn how they hack their growth. Until then, I'm Chris Hunter.
And I'm Greg Martin. Thanks and gig 'em.